What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Liner Lantern, bringing you guys our Week 4 transactions video for the NCL. Um, yeah, it's pretty amazing that we've actually had transactions every single week so far, weeks 0 through week 4. Obviously, these transactions are made during week 4 and active for week 5. The rules regarding transactions is that every team is allowed 3 free agent transactions, unlimited trades, but all of the transactions must be completed by the end of week 8. So the beginning of week 9, there are no more transactions allowed to happen. Um, this series may or may not be going up every single week, although it has so far, just because it relies on people actually making transactions for the series to go up. Now, let's get right into things here. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, well, there's 4 transactions this week, and they all involve one team. Um, at the very least, so we'll sort of start off with Jed here, and his first draw being Infernape for Heatran. This was interesting to me. You'll see why in a second, why this is relevant, so I'm not going to touch on it too much. I was actually really excited when I saw this because I thought that he was doing this for himself, because I think Heatran does a lot for his team, and he hasn't been enjoying using Infernape. Um, but it actually turns out that he was going to trade it to Jay for Tornadus-Therian. Jay's been shopping around Torn for a while, and Jay has one free agent transaction left, so he didn't want to use that to drop Torn for something slower. So Jed ended up not wanting Infernape anyways, and so he dropped Heatran or picked up Heatran for Jay and traded it for Torn. Now, I like Torn on Jed's team. I think the lack of a fire type might bite him in a few matchups, but he's not a big fan of fire types in the format anyways. And Torn is another fast pivot mon for his team to go alongside Mega Beedrill, so it kind of makes up for the lack of Infernape there. He's losing out on rocks, but he gains another Defogger, so that's something, I guess. Um, on Jay's side, he's gaining another fire type and another steel type, so he's doubling up on typings. He doesn't really here. I'm just gonna pull up the document right now because I can't exactly remember. But I don't think he's got the best ground switch-ins now, so he might look into picking up a flying type soon. Sorry, I'm just checking his page. Yeah, I mean Volbeat and Rotom-Mow are his ground switch-ins now. And he's got 3 Mons weak to ground. Volbeat hasn't come to a single game yet, and Rotomow's only reliable for so long to take ground hits. So, I'm not a huge fan of this. It fits with Jay's gimmick team a lot more. So now his fastest thing on his roster is going to be Haxorus, and he can play around a Trick Room style a lot more, um, a lot better, considering Torn came to all 3 games. He just needed it for the speed, and it just wasn't that useful for him. I think Jed's going to use Torn a little better, and I think Jay's going to use Heatran a little better. I know Jay's well versed in using Heatran. I don't know how it fits on the team. I think there might have been a better option there. Um, but it's another rocker for him, which takes the pressure off of Camel and Bisharp as well, so I like that. He does have a lot of hazards now. He lost a remover, so his removal options are Rotom-Mow and Volbeat and Hitmonlee, which is still enough probably. Yeah, and so that was the trade. Then next, Jed ended up dropping Mightyena for Hitmonchan. Because he dropped Infernape, he wanted to keep the fighting type and had another idea for a dark type, which we'll see in a second. So he dropped the Mightyena, which really wasn't probably going to come to any games anyways. It was just a nice tier 5 dark type with Intimidate, and he picked up the Hitmonchan, which is more of a utility mon. Excuse me. With the Rapid Spin, gets some elemental punches, good fighting stab, good Mach Punch user. I know he's currently using it in Wailord, which is a tier 3 and below league, so he's got some experience with it as well, and I think it's going to fit his team nicely. Doesn't really lose much in Mightyena, picks up a spinner in Hitmonchan, so he's just added 2 removers to his team, and then last but not least, he's going to drop his original spinner, Kamala, for Alolan Persian, which was sitting on the board, so he picks up the dark type, doesn't miss it on the dark type, now is missing a normal type though, I believe, so I think Ghost Spam is still decent against him, minus the Alolan Persian, per se. Yeah, Ghost Spam is pretty good against him actually, because he's got the Gorgeist and the Gardevoir there, and his only Ghost resist is the Alolan Persian, which if it's a special hit, Alolan Persian is not going to want to take multiple of those. Very reliant on the Fur Coat ability. So Jed is the first coach to hit the free agent transaction limit. He can still trade away Mons, although that does require people being able to trade things of the same point value. So we'll sort of see how that goes. I think he's improved his team a little bit. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Weekly recap is delayed, so I don't know if you guys will be seeing this before or after the weekly recap, but the weekly recap's delayed because um, Magic versus Phil is going to an extension. It's the only match left to play for week 4, and we're into week 5 now. So anyways, that's all for me, and I'll catch you guys next time.